Hi, welcome to the Oxbridge Farmers. So today I have with me um, someone who studies at Peterhouse College in Cambridge. So would you like to tell me a little bit more about yourself?
I'm Paopao. I'm currently studying engineering at Peterhouse, Cambridge. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing I would like to ask is actually, we'll just start with a little round of quick fire questions, I think. What is the defining characteristic of your college?
Um, like in 3 words, then probably small, old, and friendly. I think.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, I read online that Peterhouse is quite a small college with I think like 270 or something undergrads or less.
I can't remember the number of undergrads, but yeah, I recognize all the faces in first year, so
Mm-hmm.
it's
So
pretty small.
in what way do you think Peterhouse's small student intake impacted or shaped your life at college?
Um, I think for me, who's I consider myself to be an introvert, I think it's quite nice to have a small college where I meet people I recognize, and it's a lot easier to find friends when you don't, when you have a smaller group of people to find friends from, um, maybe for extroverts, then maybe you might enjoy a college with more people. But for me, I think that's always a good thing, having a smaller number of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, and so if you were with your friends, and you had some free time, where would you hang out in college?
I don't really hang out. I mean, there's a JCR where people hang out a lot in college, but um, a lot of my friends who are in college, not all of them, I have like two group of friends from college. One is like the people who studies engineering as well. So we get to meet each other quite often because we go to labs together and we go to exposition together. And the other one is people from my kind of the house I live in with them, and so we normally hang out in someone's room. So we don't normally hang out in the JCR. And for the engineering people, we don't really hang out. I think we meet for dinner sometimes, and sometimes hang out in the library, not at college but at the department, because Peterhouse is so close to the engineering department. It's like 10-second walk, so it's quite close. So we don't normally hang out at college now.
Oh, yeah. So in terms of location, would you say Peterhouse is pretty close to a lot of different places?
For me who studies engineering, Peterhouse is perfect. My lecture's at 9. I wake up at 8:55 and still be on time. So it's always a good thing. And the other thing is the accommodations is not far. It's not inside college, but it's not far from college as well. So everything is close there. But I think one of the things which frustrates me a lot is there's not. So let's say you want some. So let's say you want to go shopping at Tesco, or you want to go shop at Sainsbury's or something. There's no shopping place nearby, so it's quite a walk. But if you know the route where you go through Downing, then it's not that far. But still, compared to some place like I can't remember colleges like Trinity or King's, then um, Peterhouse is quite far from, not far, but like it's quite a bit away from the city center. Yeah.
Hmm. And when you say it takes quite a walk to go to the supermarket, do you mean like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or what's your time?
10 minutes to go to the small Sainsbury's, and if you want to go to the big one, then probably nearly 15, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I think yeah, that might be something that people might take into consideration if you like to cook. Do you like? Are you in your sorry? You're in your second year or
I
third?
am gonna start my second year. I mean, I just finished my first year.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. So would you?
For more information on Oxbridge Colleges, subjects, and to get help with the application process, visit oxbridgeformula.co.uk. Click subscribe and ring the notification icon to be notified when we release new content.
How was your first year room like?
Oh, my first year room. So it's not en suite. There are en suite rooms, I believe. I didn't get the ensuite one, even though I chose the ensuite one. But I think maybe it's just me sending the form quite late. So for people who got accepted into Peterhouse, just send the form early and you'll get the good rooms. Yeah, but it is the rooms amazingly big. It's very spacious, and apart from it not being en suite, I don't think I have any problems with the accommodation. Oh yeah, and they don't let you cook in the first year, so you only have a jib where you don't have a place to cook. But you do
What's
have
a
a
tip?
toaster.
Sorry.
It's like you have a toaster, you have a fridge, you have a kettle, and that's kind of it. You don't have a stove. You don't have, you can't
Oh.
cook. Yeah, and they don't allow you to bring in cooking, stuff into college as well for first year, because they kind of want you to eat at halls. But it's not a problem at all. Peterhouse food is amazing. I mean, compared, I've eaten at other colleges, not naming any, but Peterhouse has quite a good food kind of repertoire here.
Mm-hmm. I just want to focus in on accommodation a bit. When you're talking about how you like sent in the form for the rooms, is your accommodation tiered? So is it like priced at different points?
Can you repeat the question again?
Like, does everyone pay the same accommodation fee, or is there like different costs for different types of rooms?
There will be different costs for different type of rooms. So I chose a more spacious room that will be more expensive than the person who lives next to me, who got literally a third the size of my room. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. So you can choose the type of room that you want, and within those rooms for first year, is it random? So you give your preference, and then they choose it randomly for you.
So I think it's not first come first serve kind of thing, but I mean I think it's more of like you kind of pick what you want, and then they kind of try to fit it in as much as possible. So I said I want a spacious room with ensuite. I guess they didn't have a spacious room and ensuite because I've been to many of the rooms. So they kind of gave me a spacious room, not ensuite. And also you can choose the price range that you want to go in, and I think that's also comes into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then how does it work in second year or third year?
Second year for me, I'm moving out into private accommodation with 3 other engineers. Yeah, but so I didn't go through the system where they pick the accommodation for second year, but I heard that there's a ballot for it, and they picked it quite early, I think. Yeah, I think picked it quite early. Second year accommodation isn't much of a difference from first year, but you do get to cook, so you have a kitchen, and there's the good rooms. So there's so Peterhouse has the Whittle building, which was built in 2014, I think. So it's quite new, and the accommodation I never seen it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And just another question about accommodation. Is it guaranteed for all 3 years or 4 years?
Yeah, it will be all guaranteed for all the years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what made you decide to live in private accommodation?
Compared to college friends and Thai engineer friends, I'm more close to Thai engineer friends. So, and when the opportunity comes, they were finding someone to share a flat with. I talked to my family, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely get an ensuite. I'm gonna definitely get a kitchen, like a good kitchen. Should I go? And they were like, how much more do I have to pay? And I was like, about £30 a week more. And they were like, okay, if it's just £30 a week more, then just go. And that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense. So would you say, like, if you are someone who really likes cooking in first year, that is not really possible for Peterhouse?
Yeah, it's impossible to cook. I mean, if I go cook at on other colleges, Gambia Keys, but it's impossible to cook in college now.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting to know. And
Yeah.
actually, did you interview at Peter? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did interview at Peterhouse. Yeah.
And how was your interview room compared to your first year room?
My interview, what do you mean? Yeah, as in did I stayed overnight at the
Yeah,
interview?
sorry.
Yeah, I stayed overnight at the interview, and I got the room. I got the same room as a person who lived next to my room, so I got the small room during my interview. Um, yeah, it's not literally just a size difference, and that's it.
Um, yeah, and then you said that a lot of Peterhouse, well, one of the main things for first year Peterhouse is that you have to eat hall food, or do you call it canteen in Peterhouse? I always,
We called halls. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So the hall food a lot, but um, if I had £10, what could I eat at Peterhouse?
Oh, a lot, a lot. The food there is extremely cheap. I don't know. I'm not too sure about other colleges, but the food there is good priced. £3 and a bit for mains plus all sides. Probably depend on what you choose for main, obviously. But a meal will never be more than £4. I mean £5.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a drink. So if you get £10, it's probably too much to spend for £10. So don't worry about the price at all. No.
Yeah, and then if I did have, say, £4 or something, what would you choose to eat? Like if you had £4.
I mean, they will have three kind of mains for that day, and one's going to obviously be vegetarian, and then the other two are not vegetarians, and then if you go early, you get to choose, and then if you go a bit later, like me, normally the good one run out, so I'll get the other one which is not vegetarian. But if I mean, I love the lamb. I think they made quite good lamb. And the chicken's quite nice as well. I mean, it changes every day, but there's never a single day where I don't like whole food. Whole food, I don't think so. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There'll be something for you that you like.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned a bit that like the Peterhouse about the Peterhouse library. So how's your library like?
Oh, so yeah, the library I was talking about isn't the Peterhouse one. I was talking about the engineering one.
Oh,
But yeah, I've been to the Peterhouse library once. It's a quiet library compared to the one at the engineering department. So people who probably like to work in a quiet space, not me, would probably enjoy it there. And I think they have a very, very weird system of borrowing books. I'm not too sure about that. I never borrowed any books from the library. But I think you have to kind of check whether or not the book. I'm not too sure about this, so don't take this as like fact. But I think I kind of have to check it online first, and then book it online, and go get the book or something. I'm not too sure about that. No, but the library is quite nice. It's quite spacious. There's always room. I mean, I've been there once, but there's room there for a lot of people to study in, and it's quite a nice place to study. I should go there more often, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah. And so Peterhouse is a small college. So do they hold a lot of college events?
They hold a lot of formals. They have formal every day except for weekends, and they also hold the special formals like Christmas formals, Halloween formal, the marriage formal. What else? Probably there's one Easter, but I can't remember. Yeah, so they have quite a lot of formals. In terms of events, there's also something called Dean's Port, where they give you free port and other drinks as well. I think that's twice per term or once per term, something like that. I've been there once. It's quite nice.
Yeah. So what is formal hall at Peterhouse like?
So I said the food at hall is nice. Times that by two, that's the formal. It's nice, and also I'm not too sure about this fact, but I think I've heard someone telling me that the Peterhouse Hall is currently the oldest hall in Europe that is still in use.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite an experience, and there's photos, not photos, but like paintings of photos, paintings of people. I'm not gonna name who, but people who I know from like history that went to Peterhouse on there as well. So that's always nice, and you kind of get like that Peterhouse, not Peter, Harry Potter vibe. So if you like Harry Potter, I guess Peterhouse Hall.
Yeah.
Always a good thing.
And what else? I've heard some like things about the Peterhouse May Ball.
Oh, so this year, obviously there's no Mabel or any ball. To be honest, I canceled my ball at 20 as well.
Oh,
So I don't know much about the ball, and I also didn't apply for the Peterhouse ball this year, even if there was one. So sorry about that. I
alright.
don't have any
No,
info
no.
about that.
So, yeah, COVID is just,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think one thing that's popular in both Cambridge and Oxford is the BOPs that college hosts. So what's been your favorite BOP theme and memory?
I sadly didn't go to any of the BOPs. I was gonna go to the first one, for the freshers, but then I think I had another event. I think it was the Thai sock event, so I went to that one. I think so. I didn't go to any of the BOPs, but I heard that it's very nice and a lot of people enjoyed it. I think the one thing that's quite nice is there's not many people, so when you find a group of friends that you're close with, you're going to get close to a lot of people fast. So the BOPs not going to get so you won't don't be scared of the parties being dull or being boring, because the people there are people who you will be close with. So yeah.
And so why did you, sorry, no, I know you applied open. So can you just tell me a little bit more about the open application process?
Yeah, so I chose a college. So I chose, okay, I'm going to say I chose Homerton, because I have someone from my school who's alumni. She went to Homerton, so I was like, okay, let's go to Homerton, because having someone there will always be nice. But then two other friends who applied to Cambridge, they applied first and they already picked Homerton. So my teacher was like, I mean, you three gonna apply to the same course and to the same college. That's not a good plan. Let's pick another college. So then I went on to look at other colleges, and then I went on to see. I was gonna choose Churchill, and then I looked at the map, and it's pretty far from engineering. And I applied for chemical engineering via engineering. So I looked. It's quite close to the Department of Chemical Engineering. So I was like, yeah, it's not that far from Chem Eng. Let's maybe Churchill might be a choice, but it is quite far from engineering. And I guess that's it's a good thing that I didn't choose Churchill, because now I don't think I'm going to go into chemical engineering, but I'm going to stick with engineering. So if I stuck with Churchill, I'll probably have to travel quite a long way to the department every day. So because of that, Churchill was like, and also Churchill was quite new, and I went to an older college kind of vibe. So so my teacher was like, my teacher at Harrow was like, if you can't choose one, why not apply open applications? I was like, okay, it's an open application.
Mhm. And the open application is, if I'm right, just when you apply generally to the university and this like with no preference to the colleges.
Yeah, it's you literally go through the same system as other people. It's just you don't choose your college; they choose it for you, and the college doesn't know that you do. Like, at least they tell you that the college doesn't know. I don't think the college know. I mean, it doesn't matter. The college shouldn't know that you picked an open application. And yeah, it's you get allocated to a college, I think, before you do the admissions test.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I guess you were then allocated to Peterhouse, but are you happy looking back that you were allocated to Peterhouse?
Yes, I am very happy. I think it fits me a lot. As I said, I'm an introvert. I enjoy a small group of people. That's one. Two, it's a small college, so I don't need to kind of walk a lot in college. Three, it's close to it's extreme, literally right next to the department. It's perfect for someone who wakes up late. And also, I'm not a cook. I don't like the cooking part isn't a big deal for me, and but I like eating. The food's nice. So from my perspective, it's been a perfect experience for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I just want to talk a little bit about the grounds of Peterhouse. So I've heard very famous things about the Peterhouse Deer Park. Is it true that there are no deers there?
Yep, there are no deers anymore, sadly, but there are a lot of squirrels. So if you like squirrels, then they should rename it to the Squirrel Park. But I guess Deer Park sounds a bit better.
Yeah. What do you like most about the Peterhouse grounds?
As I said, it's small. It's so you don't have to. It's small, but in a way, it's not too small. So it's not like not every, so I've been to Homerton. Homerton is, I think, a little bigger than Peterhouse in terms of area, but the college seems a lot more packed. Peterhouse seems to have, it's spread out more, and also the Deer Park during spring they put up flowers. That's always nice to walk past. And what else from Peterhouse? The building's old. I love the hall. I love how the hall looks. I love how old it looks now. Yeah. So yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah. I was just thinking a little bit about the terms of support Peterhouse offers, but in what ways does Peterhouse support student welfare?
Welfare. We have. I think we have students who, I think, second year or third year students, second year, who leads, who are officers in terms of like racism, consent. We have those workshop at the start, and we are also allocated, parents, college parents, since literally the first, even before we go to college. So we have someone who, if we're not sure about something, we can always contact them beforehand, and I think that's nice. I'm not close with my college parents, but they did help me a lot at the start, finding my way around college, and also